In the spring of 1962, a 23-year-old nurse disappeared on a bright sunny day in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, only to be found 13 days later in a shallow grave. Her face was beaten beyond recognition, her mouth stuffed with dirt, and 6 decades later, her killer has never been caught. This is the haunting case of Alexandra Wiwcharuk, the girl in Saskatoon. Born in 1939, Alexandra, known as Alex to her friends, was everything you expect from someone who seemed destined to shine. Bright, beautiful, kind. She was a popular figure in her hometown of Saskatoon. A former beauty queen, a compassionate nurse, she was known for her radiant smile and ambition. Alex had just started working at Saskatoon City Hospital. She loved poetry, she had dreams of traveling. Her life should have been just beginning, but someone had other plans. On May 18, 1962, Alex told her roommate she was going for a walk. It was a normal Friday. The clock read 8 p.m., but in Saskatoon, that time of year, the sun was still hanging bright in the sky. Sunset wouldn't come for almost another hour. Alexandra didn't plan to be gone for long, but she never came home. Her friends and family grew frantic. After days of searching, her disappearance became front-page news in Saskatoon. The police launched a citywide manhunt, focusing on the riverbank near Spadina Crescent, where she often went for walks. On May 31st, 13 days later after Alexandra disappeared, two brothers were playing by the river when they saw a hand sticking out of the ground. They told their father, who was fishing, and he called the police. It was Alexandra's hand. The autopsy showed her skull had been fractured by a blow from a concrete block. She was unconscious and alive when buried. Her clothes were ripped, and her windpipe was clogged with sand and dirt, meaning she officially died of suffocation. The brutality of the crime shook the community. Saskatoon wasn't supposed to be the kind of place where this happened. The city froze in fear. Parents kept their daughters inside. Women no longer walked alone. Police questioned over 1,000 people. Unfortunately, with a delay in time from when she was murdered and when she was found, the police had little evidence to go from. Rumors began to swirl, some whispering about the sons of Saskatoon's most prominent families. One name stood out: the son of a well-known politician who Alexandra had dated according to her roommates, but no charges were ever laid. Then came the bigger names, the monsters history would later remember. Clifford Olson, the infamous serial killer who terrorized Canada in the 80s, was briefly considered a suspect. He had been sentenced to several months in Prince Albert Jail in October 1961 for minor crimes committed in Saskatoon. He was 21 at the time he had been released in April 1962, just 1 month before Alexandra's murder. At first glance, Olson seemed like a plausible candidate, but police eventually ruled him out. His known victims were young boys and girls, not adult women. And his killing spree didn't begin until 2 decades later. There was no behavioral link, no evidence, and no reason to believe he was in Saskatoon at the time. Larry Fisher, another name that was considered, he was later convicted of the and murder of a nursing assistant in 1969. But in 1962, he was only 13 years old. While his crimes would grow darker with age, investigators concluded he was far too young to be responsible for Alexandra's brutal killing. You may have heard the girl in Saskatoon in a very different context. In 1960, 2 years before Alexandra's death, Johnny Cash released a song by that name. It's a love song about a girl he met in Saskatoon. It's gentle, romantic, a pure coincidence. But after Alex's murder, the title took a darker tone. That same nickname would be engraved on her legacy. Decades later, author Sharon Butala, who went to the same high school as Alexandra, reopened the case in her book. Butala didn't just retell the facts. She asked the hard questions. Why wasn't the case solved? Why had people in the community gone silent? Who was protecting who? And perhaps the most haunting of all, why did it seem like some people didn't want the truth to come out? In 2004, the case was officially reopened as part of a cold case initiative. But despite modern technology and DNA testing, no arrests have ever been made. Some say the killer is already dead. Others whisper about a cover-up, a respected figure in town, someone with power, someone who made the evidence disappear. And as time marches on, the silence grows heavier. Alexandra was more than a mystery. She was a daughter, a friend, a nurse who wanted to heal people. Her life was stolen in a moment of horror, and her name now lingers like a ghost over the city of Saskatoon. For many, she's the girl in Saskatoon. Not just the title of a song, but the symbol of a wound that never quite closed. Cold cases haunt us because they remind us how easily justice can slip through our fingers. Alexandra's murder is more than a historical crime. It's an open wound, a reminder that evil can hide in plain sight, that sometimes the monster isn't a stranger in the dark, but someone you passed on the street.